Getting new iterations of products we've seen time and again isn't the most exciting thing in the peripheral world, but it is an opportunity to see some good ideas become fully formed ones, and such is the case here with the new Razer BlackShark V3 Pro. The previous V2 Pro was a great headset, but this revamped version here makes enough of a step forward to stand out in a crowded space, making it one of the best all-around gaming headsets I've used in a long time, and I've reviewed a lot of these things. There's finer tuning on the upgraded audio drivers that really give it a robust sound quality, and there's a number of meaningful new features that help justify the $250 price tag. But don't get it twisted, I know that's expensive, but if we're talking high-end, the BlackShark V3 Pro is certainly in the conversation for one of your best options today. Keep in mind that there are three versions, the V3X, the standard V3, and the V3 Pro. They share a common design and some common features, but I'll be talking specifically about the V3 Pro here. Also be aware of the version you get, especially if you play on Xbox, so it can actually work. But there's also a PS5 themed headset, even though every version is going to work on the PS5, but you get that nice white and blue color scheme. If you've seen the BlackShark before, the V3 Pro doesn't stray too far from the V2's design. It sports thin, wire-like aluminum yokes that branch outward to also act as telescoping arms for adjusting the fit. The headband itself is a flexible aluminum wrapped in a leatherette upper, stitched with a padded sports mesh cushion underneath to rest comfortably atop your head. Don't mistake its unassuming look for a lack of quality though. The V3 lineup is extremely well built, and it feels lighter than its listed weight of 367 grams because of its approach to comfort. Along with the oval-shaped ear cups, it looks a bit like a pilot's headset, but with a slim enough profile and sleek rounded edges so it's not bulky. But the major highlight here are the ear pads. They're made with a dense memory foam and wrapped in a velvety sports mesh for breathability. This made for fantastic comfort throughout long gaming sessions without fatigue, and I'm talking 5 to 6 hours at a time. Along the right ear cup are a bunch of controls, a button for cycling EQ presets, the chat volume mix wheel, and the toggle for active noise cancellation and ambient modes. It's a minor detail too, but I appreciate how snappy the headset swaps through these settings, so you don't have to hold a button or wait around for the change to kick in. On the left side is the microphone mute toggle, the power button, the USB-C charging port, and the microphone jack. Master volume is controlled by the textured knob that protrudes out of the left ear cup for easy access, which adjusts volume digitally on the platform you're using it on. The previously mentioned active noise cancellation is a new feature here. While the natural closed-back sound isolation is pretty solid, the V3 Pro's ANC is very strong, especially at its highest setting, and gives it more versatility for noisy environments. Then there's simultaneous 2.4 GHz and Bluetooth connectivity. You'll primarily use the V3 Pro with the 2.4 GHz hyperspeed wireless dongle for a super low latency, but the simultaneous Bluetooth lets you take an additional audio feed for convenience. While you'll see extravagant features like chroma RGB lighting and Sensa haptics on fancier headsets like the Kraken V4 Pro, the BlackShark always meant business. So there's no RGB here, which is perfectly fine for a headset since I'm not seeing it anyway, and given its performance focus, the BlackShark's customization lies in fine-tuning the audio performance. The story of Razer Synapse remains the same, a finicky software suite with too many moving parts, but it works well enough to bring out the best in your peripheral, and it's pretty important to have to make small adjustments and get the most out of this headset, and once it's working, Synapse is pretty easy to figure out. So customization mostly lies in the EQ settings. Synapse has built-in profiles for the most popular competitive games like Counter-Strike 2, Valorant, and Call of Duty Warzone. This is also where you enable THX spatial audio on PC, and it runs on its own EQ settings that you can change here. You can also use Tempest 3D audio on PS5 and Windows Sonic with Xbox, as well as Dolby Atmos if you have a license. Other settings include ANC and ambient noise strength, simultaneous audio mix, audio enhancements like bass boost and vocal clarity outside of EQ, and a slew of microphone tweaks. Features like side tone to hear your own voice and noise gate levels are here in addition to adjusting the microphone's 10-band EQ. All settings are saved onto the headset itself, so you'll have your preferences even if you don't have Synapse running on another platform you're using it on. Battery life remains solid on the V3 Pro, and it's rated at 70 hours, which is the same as previous models, but a lot of factors go into that, of course, like how much you're using Bluetooth versus 2.4 and how much you're using ANC and ambient modes. But from my experience, I got about 50 hours worth of use over a course of a week before the battery life dipped below 20%, according to Synapse's reading. Considering I was using hyperspeed wireless every time I was playing games and used ANC kind of sparingly throughout the workday, I would say that this is sufficient in my book, and it's not too far off of Razer's claims. Now, a gaming headset is nothing without proper audio performance, right? And from using the BlackShark V3 Pro across different applications, I'm happy to report that sound quality is one of the definite highlights here. And that's kind of expected of a headset in the $250 price range, but even I was impressed with its punchy yet balanced sound quality and its spatial audio performance. I played several rounds of Call of Duty Warzone on PlayStation 5 and swapped between the profile specifically made for Call of Duty and my own EQ tuning. Regardless, I felt like I had a wide soundstage, helping certain audio cues stand out more prominently and accurately. Sure, this might provide a competitive edge, but for me, the more enjoyable and booming audio experience was more important for a game that can get audibly cluttered and busy. In Counter-Strike 2 on PC, I bounced between the custom-made profile and my own, and felt very competitive in both modes. My own EQ gave a more natural sound while still letting me pinpoint footsteps, gunshots, and enemy actions like reloading to give me the jump when making crucial tactical decisions in ranked matches. That positional audio and overall sound quality speaks to the subtle adjustments that Razer made to the design of its 50mm audio drivers, which sanded off some of the distortion and brought out some of the finer details, especially in games. And I wasn't able to fully say that about previous Razer headsets, but I can confidently say that about the BlackShark V3 Pro. Now let's talk about the microphone. This is me using the BlackShark V3 Pro's boom mic on default settings. Having reviewed so many gaming headsets at this point, the microphone almost feels like an afterthought, and oddly, the BlackShark V2 Pro's mic sounds closer to the quality of a standalone microphone as opposed to this one here, so the V3 Pro is kind of a downgrade. My voice sounds a little digitized, however, it's no slouch considering that it's intended for in-game comms, voice over IP, or hanging out in Discord calls, so it's fairly clear and crisp for those scenarios, and slightly above what I've heard even at the premium level. Like many of Razer's top-of-the-line products, the BlackShark V3 Pro is going to cost a pretty penny, but even at $250, it still manages to impress with its sound quality and audio profile, especially if you take the time to balance its EQ settings to your liking. But it's that positional audio that really makes this headset sing. It's also one of the most comfortable gaming headsets, with dense ear pads wrapped in a smooth sports mesh, and it doesn't clamp too hard either. It still rocks a no-nonsense look, yet comes packed with meaningful new features that previous BlackSharks didn't have, like swiveling ear cups, ANC, USB to 3.5 audio, and simultaneous Bluetooth to add versatility to what's pitched as an esports headset. This is a finely crafted iteration of the BlackShark, and its shortcomings are fairly minor, making the V3 Pro an easy recommendation for those looking for their next premium-grade headset. For more on gaming audio, check out my budget to best video for headsets or my review of the classic Odyssey Maxwell, and for everything else in the world of gaming and tech, stick with IGN.